That black tea smells nice. Is it instant or from a tea bag? Oh, would you like some too, Comrade Eva? We're out of cups, so we have to use a funnel. A gold butterfly drifted onto the balcony and turned into Eva. How's Banka still doing? Will it be a while longer before she breaks the seal on the Book of the Single Truth? Oh, that was Angie. That's what I came to talk about. She says the seal has been broken. Uh-oh. Congratulations, so the time has finally come. The period to mark the end of your life. Take the key and go to Lady Bancastle. One of her cat familiars will guide you. 2 emerald sparkles flew in. They were the green glinting eyes of a black cat. The cat flicked its tail elegantly, with the dignity of a high-class attendant. Got it, then I'll be back in a bit. Angie rose from her seat. She did it casually, as though she really was just heading out for a short trip. However, her lips would probably never touch her half-finished cup of tea again. We weren't together long, but I enjoyed it. Getting to learn what disgust for your own kind is like was an enlightening experience. Damn. Same here. Next time we meet, you'll have to teach me the trick to making tea this terrible. Are you happy? Now you'll finally get to learn that secret I've been hiding from you these past 12 years. I am happy. Yeah, now I can understand how Erika feels. It's like I'm taking a shot back at you, exposing the secret that you kept until your death. And is it a good feeling? Well, it's better than nothing. Angie nodded towards the black cat to let it know that she was ready. The cat nodded back in a refined manner, indicated that it wanted Angie to follow, and leapt from the balcony. Without turning back, Angie followed it, jumping out into the air as though swimming. Eva watched her go. An expression of ridicule and scorn failed to cross her face. Good luck, Angie. This is the path you've chosen. You aren't 6 years old anymore. You're 18. Choose how to live your own life. What an overprotective aunt you are. I'm going to watch the ceremony. What about you? It's almost time to begin the attack, so I'm heading for the ships. I've got to go pick up Beatrice's corpse. Everyone at the party can have her guts, but I get to keep her skin, so let's stuff and mount it. So even Rokanjima's tale, which was wrapped in a veil of mysteries, is about to meet its end. Which means it's also the end for you. I mean, you are a piece from there, right? A piece is all I am. The role of a piece is to remain faithful to its role until the game ends. It's not a piece's place to worry about what happens after the game is over. True, and it's the same for me. Let's both enjoy this time while we have it. Well then, allow me to take my leave. Later, good luck with your work. After exchanging elegant bows, the 2 witches vanished at the same time. Nothing remained except some half-finished teacups and the aroma of the tea itself. One after another, luxury cars stopped in front of a high-class hotel in the city, and guests began to step out of them. Hey, Professor Otsuki. Oh, what a surprise! I haven't seen you since the last convention. All of the guests gathered here were very rich and cultured. A single hobby tied all of them together. They were witch hunters, like-minded people who enjoyed exploring various interpretations of the Rokanjima mystery. Still, I wonder if it's really true to think that this diary with Shidumi Evas actually exists. True, I have heard rumors myself. This is that legendary secret diary which Shidumi Eva hid away just before her death. It is said that she recorded the details of Rokanjima's truth in her, just like that fable of the king with the donkey's ears. What? Fable of the king with the donkey's ears? Never heard of that before. Humans are tragic creatures and capable of keeping truly silent regarding secrets only they could know. Wahahaha. What, are you Wario or Waluigi or something? From what I've heard, a collector from Dubai offered to buy it for $10 million. Incredible! More evidence of the fascination that the Rokanjima mystery is capable of stirring. So today we'll learn that Waluigi is a witch hunter. Conversations like this were breaking out passionately all over the place. Furthermore, it wasn't just guests who were allowed to enter. The press was also there in force. The Rokanjima mystery was such a large movement that it became a social phenomenon at one point. Though it had died down slightly in recent years, it was still a topic fiercely debated across the internet. It was hardly any surprise that the discovery and imminent release of Shidumi Eva's diary, which contained the truth of that mystery, had caused an uproar. And on top of all that, the mysterious forger Ito Ikuguro was to appear publicly for the first time. In fact, it seemed that Ito Ikuguro and Hachito Toya, the up-and-coming mystery novelist, were the same person. I know what you're talking about. First, this meant that Hachijo Toya would also be appearing in the public for the first time. And though she was thought to be a male author, the fact that she was actually a mysterious woman author alone was enough to cause a stir. Before the diary unveiling party, a press conference was held in one of the rooms of the hotel. Indeed, I am Hachijo Toya. Madame Hachijo, we now know that in your previous book signings you were so determined not to show yourself that you even used a body double. So what has caused you to change your mind and appear before us this time? The legend of the Rokkenjima witch has given birth to endless tales. Considering the weight of such a legend's demise, and being the mere writer that I am, I felt obligated to show myself as a sign of respect. As a forger, you announced on the web that you had reached the truth. Does that mean you've already read the contents of that diary? And very soon, those contents will be revealed to everyone. Pardon me for asking, but is there any guarantee that the contents of this diary are the truth? One might view it as nothing more than a personal account from a single deceased person. Not at all. I guarantee it. The truth is recorded in this diary. There he is again. This looks so stupid. A stir passed through the crowd, and the room was suddenly filled with camera flashes. This ends Madame Hachijo's interview. Allow us to express our deep gratitude towards all members of the press for coming on this day. And now we would like to move on and allow you to take photos of Madame Ushidomiya Eifa's diary. A hotel worker pushed forward a card covered by a veil. Then, after looking to Hachijo for approval, he removed the veil. There lay Ushidomiya Eifa's diary. The book of the single truth sat there waiting for its seal to be released. Hachijo held it to her chest and laughed enigmatically. Camera flashes came from everywhere, making the book of the single truth glint. And that is all for now. If you would all please move to the assembly hall. Still holding the diary, Hachijo left the press conference room, escorted by men from the hotel. Until she went through a door that said authorized personnel only, the journalists continued to surround her and ask questions, hoping to gather just one more comment. When the door slammed shut, the world twisted. The hotel employees became black cats wearing capes. Hachijo had turned to Feathergreen. Things are getting pretty crazy out there. Did you enjoy it? How tiring. Still, that went well, and yet this diary truly is heavy. Feathergreen tossed the diary and Bancastle caught it. I will rest in one of the waiting rooms. You're going to be up again pretty soon. There's no time to rest. In that case, call it a short break so that I can properly enjoy this long-awaited excitement. I need to borrow that book. I promised Angie that I'd show her first. I see. In that case, do as you please. Feathergreen left, followed by her cat attendants. After watching her until she was out of sight, Bancastle disappeared as well. Like Erica's room, Bancastle's was a balcony without a handrail dug out of bookshelf cliff. Angie had been kept waiting for some time, but she had waited patiently, looking down at the world below her. I'm late, aren't I? Sorry about that. After Bancastle appeared, the black cats gave a bow and vanished. Here you go. I've brought it with me. The book of the single truth. Can I touch it? Do as you like. I mean, that's what you have to do in order to read it, right? Bancastle set it on the table and beckoned Angie forward. Slowly, Angie approached it. So, this is Aunt Eva's diary. That's right. Inside it, you'll find the single truth that you wanted. You do have the key, right? Yes, right here. Angie took the key out, looked at it there on her palm, then gripped it tightly. Even the heavy lock that held the diary so securely was fated to be swept aside easily as soon as Angie readied herself. I won't rush you. You don't have to open it until you're ready. This includes the truth of what happened at midnight on October 5th, 1986, right? Yes, it has everything that you wanted to know so much you offer up your life. In that instant, two angels appeared inside of her, taking control of her body at the same time. On the one hand, she knew that she had already paid a great price to learn the truth. This part of her gripped the key, wanting to avoid a second of hesitation that might lead her to refuse to learn the truth now, at the final moment with the book of the single truth right before her. On the other hand, A feeling as though she was betraying the brother and family who watched over her warmly made her bite her lower lip. However, though she shook, she could do nothing but watch as her right hand slowly brought the key towards the lock. What am I hesitating for? Inside this diary is the final destination of my sad, painful 12-year-long journey. Wasn't 12 years enough? Do I want to keep living that way? That brother is an illusion created by my heart. My naive hope that a miracle might still occur. If I put my two options on a scale, then the path I should choose is clear. Slowly I pushed the key into the lock and twisted. The lock opened with a click, and at the same time it felt as though a crack ran through the key in my hands. Maybe a part of that intricate design had fallen off. I couldn't tell where it was broken just by glancing at it. However, for some reason its golden glint seemed dulled somehow. It's because you've made your choice with that key. A bit of magic has disappeared. What kind of magic? Didn't Bella tell you? He said you couldn't hand that over to anyone else. That magic which left the decision to you has just fulfilled its role and disappeared. That key is just a key now. It can't do anything but lock and unlock that diary. I see, and I guess I have no more use for Uni-chan's key. Can I have it? Once you've read the diary, I'll lock it up again. Opening that lock will be a big part of tonight's ceremony, it seems. I see. Do whatever you want. I don't give a damn what happens after I find the truth. Ben has slid the key from where it lay on the table and put it into her pocket. Go ahead then, before the courage that led you here fades. I lifted up Aunt Eva's now unlocked diary. The lock was unset. Even the hinge had been released by now. Nothing stands in the way of me opening to the pages within. I thought of taking a deep breath. However, I decided against it. I prepared myself for this long ago. It'd be so stupid to fuel my reluctance further. I opened it. Violently, ruthlessly. I knew that this was the right way to open to the pages that held the truth. As soon as the cover was opened, a brilliant light poured out and my mind went hazy. The truth was sent to my mind directly without letters or words. Tell me what happened today on Orokajima. Can we please also learn it? Hello, we're also here. Of course not. My consciousness returned gradually. Nothing was written in the open book before me. Of course, this was my own blank and empty notebook. I was at school, just sitting idly with my notebook open. The world had stopped. The hand on the clock had stopped too. In that case, the auditorium should have been filled with silence. However, I could hear a small commotion. In this world of suspended time, I could see dark shapes sneaking about in the shadows of the unmoving students. They were students with goat heads. They were sneaking glances at me from behind the frozen students, whispering something to each other. I know. I can hear them. Everybody knows. One after another, students with goat heads grew out of shadows all over the room. They slipped around all the students, stopped in time, and gathered around me. Then they all jeered out something in unison, and as if they knew I could hear a shower oozing with giggles and gossip and sneers. However, nothing that came from the goat's mouth reached my ears as words. This was a world without letters or words, so no words reached me. However, their emotions and meanings did reach me, so I knew what it was they were saying. And then when I was able to visualize it, one after another, the goats opened their massive jaws, showing their fangs that dripped with saliva, and came forward to bite me. Time was stopped for me. I was aware, but I could not move. That was literally true. However, I was pretending that I couldn't hear, so I couldn't move. The goats bit me all over my body, leaving their fang marks, licking me. Maybe they didn't like the taste of my clothes. Taking advantage of the fact that I couldn't move, they chewed through my clothes one by one. Over and over again, the goats stuck their tongues, their jaws, their fangs into my naked body. I was covered with drool and bitten all over. Bright red teeth marks were left behind as sharp fangs pierced my skin, leaving trails of blood. They licked up that blood like real goats, hurting and humiliating me. As I hung my head, one of the goats pulled on my hair, forcing me to look up and spoke. They didn't say it with concepts, but with words I could hear. However, they weren't words of the human world, they were witches' words. The red truth, which signifies truth that is certain.
This is the truth of the Rakajima incident.
I won't accept it.
Doesn't matter if you accept it or not. This is the truth. After all.
Fuck you. I won't accept it, I won't accept the truth like that.
Whether you accept it or not, that doesn't change the truth. After all, this is the single truth proven in red.
I suppose we have to wait until the party ceremony. Who cares about the truth? So stupid, so pointless. I'm the one who gets to decide if that's the truth or not, right? Even if it's red truth, I won't acknowledge it, won't forgive it, definitely won't accept it. The right truth is absolute? Who for? It's absolute for you guys, right? Not for me. I won't let you contaminate my truth with yours. Angie, calm down. You're the one who wanted to know, right? My truth is that Aunt Eva is the culprit. Aunt Eva killed everyone. Everything's her fault. Dad and Mom and Anita and all the others just victims. It's no one's fault, no one's fault. Of course it isn't, of course it isn't. Your aunt will always be on your side, Angie-chan. Yeah, I get it now. I know what you meant. That's right, Aunt Eva. You're the culprit. You're the culprit. It's the world that's messed up and broken for not realizing that. I'm the right one. I'll deny the red truth. Deny the whole world. You know, didn't you say something about you're ready for the truth, whatever it is? Seems that was a lie. I see. In that case, try writing a red truth only you can write. But how is it possible for a human to write with red truth? It is possible. It's a red ink that only humans can write with. Angie-san, please calm down. I'm the right one. The world is wrong. I'll write it. I'll record the truth of the real red truth. 20. Requesting urgent support on the roof. Angie-san, hold on. Please think this over. Look out. Goodbye, Angie. Have a nice day. I'll write it out. This is my blood red truth. I'll never accept the truth of your world. Angie's body went past the edge of the balcony. The air which she had once been able to swim through was now completely merciless for some reason. Angie's body plunged straight into the darkness below. Bancaster just watched the scene play out in silence. Behind her, men in black suits rushed up to the fence, clutching it and screaming. 20. Angie's jumped off. Damn, I can't see her from here. Quickly investigate the ground area. There's no use, there's no way. Maybe she was caught by that safety net. Let's make sure. What fools. If you jumped straight down from this height, do you really think such a flimsy safety net could possibly save you? As the Witch of Miracles, I Bancaster guarantee that such a miracle certainly won't occur. Angie's body fell from the skyscraper-like bookshelf and slammed against the floor of the City of Books. Looking down from Bancaster's balcony, which was as high as the skyscraper's roof, did it look like a lovely red pressed flower? No, you couldn't see it at all. Just like how the death of a single lonely girl who rejected the world didn't matter to anyone in the world. She probably died instantly. It was only natural. She had fallen straight down from this height after all. Is it even conceivable that she wouldn't die instantly after something like that? The index finger on the right hand of her corpse stuck out as though it was tracing something. Could it be that by some impossible miracle she really had escaped an instant death? And could the red blood that drained from her at the moment of her death have been the ink that drew her own personal red truth? However, no one would ever be able to tell what she had written. After all, the red blood pouring from her corpse had run over it all. Even this was one of your choices, Angie. Eva was looking down at the beautiful flower of blood radiating from Angie's corpse. I tried to keep you alive. However, you never tried to live in the future that began after the age of 6. And so after 12 years, you finally returned to where you started. The eyes on Angie's corpse were closed. However, there was no way of knowing if this was a peaceful thing. Eventually, the corpse began to melt away. At the end, it had become a messy lump of flesh with only a few parts recognizable as human. It was hardly surprising. How else would she look after falling from that height and slamming against the asphalt? You managed to die. However, this doesn't mean that everyone will be waiting for you in heaven. After all, you reached this place by rejecting all of those in heaven. See you in hell. No, that's probably where we are right now. So long, Angie. Ifa, perfect timing. Did you call for me, my master? Clean up the scrap meat for me if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to take this back. In Barncastle's hand were the key, which had lost its magic when Angie made her decision, and the book of the single truth, which had been locked up again. As you wish, my master. After looking down one more time, Barncastle vanished. Once she had gone, Aoife summoned some cat familiars and ordered them to clean up. The black cats gathered Angie's flesh and scared her limbs and threw them into a tin bucket. Even in this miserable form, Angie's soul was still living. Perhaps living is a poor description. She was unable to die. From now on, forever. She would drift along in the deepest depth of oblivion, covered by the dust of oblivion, until she finally disappeared. She continued to question herself. What did the truth mean to her? What was right, and where was the place she could call home? As her flesh began to cool, even the energy to ask these questions began to fade. Eventually, she would forget her everyday memories, and even the reason why she was suffering. However, there was one thing she would never forget. That was the anguish. From this point forth, she would suffer endlessly without even knowing why. By the time the cats finished flinging her corpse into the bucket and dumping it into the sea of nothingness, Angie had forgotten even her own name. Well, that is probably not the nicest way to be ended. What a happy ending, yeah. What's this sound I keep hearing? Yes, it must be the sound of rain. In that case, what are those two bright lights coming towards me? That's probably the cannonballs that are about to crash through your fucking head. I don't know. However, they came in with a screeching sound and stopped right in front of me. A blaring noise came at me over and over. Whatever's shining those bright lights is threatening me. It's probably telling me to get out of the way. However, I was incapable of moving even a finger. There was a sound, and a car door opened. There was sound, not a sound. Car, door. Apparently I was lying on asphalt under the pouring rain. Oh, did she actually not die? I'm still confused anyway, because didn't she originally jump off the roof and survived and then started her journey? So now, why do we see that exact same scene before she even starts her journey? I saw a shadow, which was apparently the driver, open an umbrella and come towards me. Is this your backyard? The shadow questioned me. Of course I couldn't answer it. If it is, then I must apologize. Yes, on a day with such fine weather, anyone would want to take a nap in such a lovely backyard as this. And yet, unless my memory fails me... The shadow crouched down and looked into my face. It was a woman. This is a public highway you're sleeping on. Do you want to become roadkill? Or maybe you already are roadkill. Well now, which one is it? I clenched my chest. I felt I needed to answer somehow and communicate my intentions. So finally I managed to let a short groan escape my lips. What the hell are we witnessing now? I see, so you aren't roadkill yet. And that was how I met Ikuko. The patient's body is in a very frail condition. Some sort of memory loss is very probable as well. We won't know for sure until the CT scan, but there may even be brain damage. It's lucky that damage is all we have to deal with. Any longer in a spot like that and it would likely have been much worse. True. In any event, I recommend getting this checked at a large hospital. Thank you, doctor. Please keep this off the record. It may not be much, but there's some money for your troubles. I see no reason to speak of this needlessly, but no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. In the end, the doctor took the money and swore to keep quiet about the matter. Eventually, Hachijo returned. Oh, you were awake. How do you feel? I nodded weakly, letting her know that it wasn't so bad for now, but where is this place? A room I have absolutely no memory of, in a house I don't remember at all. And first and foremost, here's a woman I've never seen. To start off, let me introduce myself. I am Hachijo Ikuko. Feel free to casually call me Ikuko, or act more formal and call me Hachijo-san. So what happened to Hachijo Toya? I'm just very confused right now. Hachijo Ikuko. The Hachijo family owns a large amount of land and is fairly famous in these parts. Unlike my accomplished brothers, I'm what you might call a little eccentric. I got into a bit too much mischief, and my parents finally ran out of patience and kicked me out. I'm now confined to this house. As a hobby, I like to read detective novels and also to write them. My age is a single woman's secret. My heart is that of a girl, but I'm approaching the point where calling myself one becomes increasingly absurd. With the haze my mind was in, it was extremely hard to make out what she was talking about. However, I was able to pick up on the fact that she was trying to cheer me up. So, what's your name? My name. Logically, I know that being a human, I must have a name, and I do have the feeling that I did indeed have a name. However, no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, it just made my head hurt. Can you remember anything besides your name? Who am I? My head, no, even my heart was a mess of torn flesh, and I couldn't remember a thing, not even who or what I was. But I must remember. I had some kind of purpose or maybe a mission. In order to remember that, I first have to remember who I am. I'm Batman. Wasn't that a Snickers commercial? And a hilarious one at that. Man, now I want to watch it again. Who am I? What is my name? Where was I born and what was my birthday? I need to remember something, anything. Age. Age? That's my little secret. 18. I look like I'm 18? No, I'm 18. Oh, so that was your age. Well, now, I thought you were being a bit too flattering. When I asked myself how old I was, the number 18 floated into my mind. To be honest, the number 18 felt a bit out of place. My mind felt much younger than that, and my pathetic body felt much older. So is this Angie? But how is that even, huh? Did she jump off some skyscraper? Somehow managed to land in the yard of Hachijo, who is now called Ikuko? Survived, forgot who she was, and then was raised as Hachijo Toya or something? No, I don't know anymore. I see, so you're 18, and that's all you can remember. I nodded weakly. I never knew that knowing nothing about yourself could make you feel this powerless. In that case, until you remember your name, let's give you the name Toya, written with the characters for 18, until you... oh, I see. Until you remember. Hachijo Toya. What do you think? That sounds pretty cool. Yes, I must say I've impressed myself very much with that one. Hachijo Ikuko gave a satisfied laugh. From then on, I took the name Hachijo Toya. My inability to move my body was apparently due to a traffic accident. On that day, I had been hit by a car, and Ikuko had picked me up from where I lay on the street. So not Angie? I'm so confused. If she hadn't hit the brakes, she probably would have driven straight onwards, thinking she'd run over a dead dog or something. Later on, perhaps rudely, I suspected that the one who hit me might have been Ikuko herself, but when I saw her completely undamaged front bumper, I gave up on that theory. Hachijo Ikuko lived in a small but lovely mansion on the top of a small hill in a village with a view of the sea. She also owned the hill behind her and was more than capable of enjoying the four seasons in privacy. So no jumping off a skyscraper here. As time passed slowly, my rehabilitation continued and my ability to move improved little by little. However, it seemed I really did suffer some form of brain damage. Finding out who I was looked like it would be a very difficult task. In the beginning, when I couldn't bear not knowing my identity, my head often hurt so much it felt as though it would explode. However, as I slowly accepted the fact that I was a new person with the new name of Hachijo Toya, the headaches became less frequent. That whole time, no memories returned to me except the fact that I had been 18. However, I was unable to remember anymore, unable even to be sure that 18 was my true age, and eventually I stopped trying to remember my former self. Good morning, Toya. That was quite the storm last night. Yeah, that was quite the storm last night over here as well. Did you all have a storm as well? Shit was crazy. Were you able to sleep well? I had some trouble falling asleep, so I decided to read your manuscript. My, how far did you manage to get? I finished it. Now there's a surprise. You managed to read through all that in a single night. I was surprised too. Once I got into it, I'd finished before I knew it. It was like I was just skimming it, or maybe like I was taking in each page with just a glance. It sounds like you have some talent at speed reading. So how was it? What did you think of it? I liked it a lot. Still, if you don't explain that part about the ocean currents a bit more clearly, it might be a little unfair for a detective novel. Oh, but I thought it was great that you had the foreshadowing with the ring right there at the beginning. After I finished, I had to go back to the beginning and slap myself for being so easily tricked. I think giving people that feeling is what detective novels do best. Did I say something to offend you? If I did, you have my apologies. Of course not. Why are you apologizing? I'm just shocked, that's all. Your detailed opinions are worthy of praise, I believe. It seems you have some talent as a critic or a detective novel writer, too. A detective novel writer? I mean, if this is now Hachijo Toya, then the Hachijo Toya we've seen so far would be this person? And the Hachijo Ikuko is a new person? I'm just confused all over. And I'm guessing everybody who already knows the tale just totally enjoys my confusion right now. A detective novel writer, a critic. From across the fog of oblivion, I seem to remember myself fighting and arguing about mysteries or something like that. That way of fighting, which I must have learned in the past, sent a surge of excitement through me. Mystery. Fighting. My head hurt. I took a painkiller and swallowed it with fresh water brought up from the well. Oh, she even has a well. How fancy. Who am I, really? But no matter how much I thought, I couldn't remember. From what I've been told, the frequency of the headaches might be lessened by brain surgery, but there was no guarantee that it would do my memory any good. Ikuko said that she would let me have surgery if I wanted it. However, I refused. Even if I can't remember it, the real me is still there, sleeping inside my head. I was scared that the surgery might harm that me somehow. By now, I've gotten used to dealing with headaches. As long as I don't force myself to remember the past, the headaches don't torment me every day. So, bit by bit, I became free of the headaches and got used to my new life as Hachijo Toya. Gradually, my interests shifted from myself to Ikuko. Hachijo Ikuko, a very strange woman. First off, she was apparently the daughter of a very well-off family, just as she had said. However, she was considerably eccentric, and the various mischievous incidents she spoke of had apparently gotten her within an inch of being disowned. As a result, she had been given this house and had been ordered to live here quietly and alone. Damn. She had never been a particularly social person, so she happily accepted this new state of affairs, living however she pleased with servants to take care of her. She had no friends. No one ever came to visit. When I wasn't around, she only ever talked to an old black cat she kept as a pet, named Bern. I don't know her real age. She doesn't seem to be too old to marry yet, but with an isolated life like this, she isn't likely to meet people. She sometimes says that she just hasn't met anyone worth the trouble, but I think she's already given up on marriage. Her everyday life was very simple. She would either read through the many detective novels that were brought to her, or else write detective novels herself. At first, I thought she was some novelist at a private retreat, plugging away at a new book. However, the manuscripts she finished just ended up clipped together in a pile. With me as the sole exception, it didn't look like she ever let anyone read them. A novelist is someone who writes novels for people to read, so I figured you could hardly call her a novelist when she kept writing novels no one would ever see. Ikuko-san, why don't you ever show these to anyone? I show them to you, only the better ones, of course. Haven't you ever thought of sending one to some, publishing company? It's a waste otherwise when your works are so interesting. My works can't stand up against the pros. I sent one in once, but it was absolutely no good. I understand my position. This is just an amateur's pastime. I don't think amateur is a fitting word for someone who's so well versed in detective novels from all times and all across the world. Being a big eater doesn't mean you'll make a good cook. I guess that's true. Reading every detective novel you can get your hands on is no guarantee that you're a good detective novelist. That's how it is. That's why this is nothing more than a pastime. Is it really fun to write novels that you won't show to anyone? It used to be, once. What about now? I like getting to hear your opinions. At any rate, I've finished writing the chapter. I'll go make some tea, so would you mind reading it again and sharing your thoughts with me? Saying this with a smile, Ikuko thrust a pile of manuscript paper at me. I'm convinced that whether you read detective novels or write them, they're boring if you're all on your own. You can only find something really precious when you share that world with someone else. Headache. Toya, are you okay? I'll go get some headache medicine. I'm fine. I'm more interested in this manuscript. I can't wait for the new chapter. The seasons passed. Together with Ikuko, in this town whose name I didn't even know, we spent our days debating detective novels and talking about ideas for new plots. At a glance, they may have appeared to be stale and unproductive days. However, Hachijo Toya found satisfaction with his new life. That's a nice sunset. And so the curtain closes on the strange tale of Kurokubi Island. The end. With a dramatic flourish of her pen, Ikuko signified that her manuscript was now complete. What do you think? I tried using your plot to make Tsujiko's tragic love scene at the end a bit more moving. I think it's very good. I'd say the last farewell is sad enough to make it moving as a story, not just as a reasoning puzzle. That's all thanks to your plot. Compared to this work, everything I've written before now was worth a little more than scrap paper. Even as I was writing it, I was excited to be the first person in the world who got to read it. I've never felt that before. I just mentioned some ideas. You're the one who turned them into such a fascinating story, Ikuko-san. At some point, you roped me in as well, and I too started my journey in the world of writing detective novels. Apparently, the old me had some talent for mysteries and detective novels and the like, and my talent seemed to be of a fairly unorthodox kind. I tried turning famous mysteries from across the world on their head, twisting those ideas into something new. However, a few ideas aren't enough to make a book. No meal is complete if all you can do is chop up vegetables. Thanks to Ikuko's writing, a skill she had built up over many years, my ideas were transformed into a work of fiction. In this work, The Strange Tale of Kurokubi Island, the two of us merged the best of our respective personalities, and though I hate to brag, it had turned into a masterpiece that we could show to anyone without shame. Hello, please bring us some champagne. Bring a glass for yourself as well. This is the best job we've done so far, so let's celebrate. Ikuko called for some champagne over the internal phone line. Joined by the servant who happened to be working that day and the cat Bayan, we raised our glasses high and toasted our accomplishment. Ikuko-san, I have an idea if you don't mind. Let's hear it. I love hearing your ideas as long as I'm not in the shower or on the can. Why don't we try submitting our book? I've never read anything this interesting before. I'm sure lots of other people will want to read it. You think so? I tried once in the past, thinking the same thing, but the result was... I believe in your talent, Ikuko-san. What about you? Of course I believe in your talent. Then it's decided. To Ikuko-san's big debut. To Toya's big debut. We clinked our glasses once more, and on it went. We must have had way too much to drink. Before I knew it, I must have passed out on the sofa. There was a blanket covering me. Ikuko-san must have put it there. The lights were out in the study, but it wasn't dark. The computer's monitor was glowing. Outside it had started to rain. It reminded me of the day Ikuko-san found me and took me in. Because of that, whenever it rains, I find myself wondering who I was, and I usually get headaches, so I wasn't sure whether the pain was because of the rain or because I drank too much. Ikuko-san? Turn on the lights. Using a computer in the dark is bad for your eyes. Oh, did I wake you up? No, I slept well. I feel refreshed now. I turned on the light and looked out through a gap in the curtains. As I thought, it was the sort of pouring rain that always reminded me of that day. It's raining pretty hard out there. The wind looks pretty strong too. I hope the rain gutters don't get clogged with leaves again. I just cleaned them the other day, so they should be fine for a while. Her answer sounded a little abstracted. Apparently her attention was absorbed by the computer. You've been pretty hooked by that computer lately, Ikuko-san. Did you find an interesting article or something? It may be a bit juvenile, but it's still pretty interesting. It's about that Rokkanjima incident. Rokkanjima? I told you about the Rokkanjima mystery a few days ago, remember? It's been really huge on the net lately. The discussions, theories, and even the forgeries have been quite entertaining. Forgeries are stories all based on the premise that yet another message bottle signed by Ushiromiya Maria existed and drifted to one of the nearby islands. Ikuko kept sewing off her knowledge of the subject. However, a huge bell was clanging inside my head. The noise was so great that I thought my head would split open. Unable to tell what was the floor nor was the ceiling, I crumpled and clutched at my head. Toya, are you okay?
My head hurts.
The Rokkanjima explosion accident, the many disquieting rumors surrounding it, the scheming of the relatives who were after Ushiromiya Kinzo's vast wealth and the hidden gold, and the truth? Ushiromiya Eva, the sole survivor, said nothing. Eventually everything would be inherited by the granddaughter Ushiromiya Angie, who escaped harm because she was absent on that day. Angie, Ushiromiya Angie. I am Ushiromiya. Blah! No good, my head's getting split open. Incomprehensible scenes pierced my eyelids from the inside like blades of light. Just what am I looking at? Who are these people calling to me but not by the name Toya? Who am I? Who are these people? What is this memory? Help me, Ikuko. Someone else's memory is hurting me. My head is splitting. I could hear the sorrowful sound of wind, and that must be rain. Who was I again? I am Ushiromiya. Angie! Please say something. Voices calling to me. Dad and Mom. It can't be. In 1986 on Rokkanjima, Mom and Dad... Angie, hang in there. Can you hear Daddy's voice? Please say something, Angie. Dad, Mom? I'll say it out loud. Dad, Mom? Angie, thank goodness. I could feel my body being lifted up firmly and hugged roughly. Mom and Dad were hugging me. My eyelids have been open for a while now. I could feel the light slowly returning to my eyes. Just like your eyes get used to the dark, my eyes got used to the light, and bit by bit the scene around me came into view. However, it was an unusual sight, which seemed to be very far away. My body was being hugged by Dad and Mom. Dad was sniffling, his face covered with tears. There were tears in Mom's eyes too, as she held me tight. It was so strong that it hurt a bit. They held me with all their strength. Me, the bad kid who wasn't obedient, who always had an excuse, and who always tried to do the opposite of what her parents said. They held me tight to make sure I didn't head down the wrong path. As my eyes adjusted, I could see other people besides my parents. Everyone was there. George Oni-chan, Jessica Oni-chan, Maria Oni-chan, my uncles and aunts, even Sakutaro. And there was the witch Virgilia and Renove and... Where? You were fortunate. By chance we found you drifting in the waves of the Sea of Emptiness. You were in a terrible state. It took quite some time to make you remember your true form. Beatrice, so this is... The Golden Land. Your whole family has been waiting here for you to return. We knew you would come home. Did I come home because I was supposed to? I've gone back to how I'm supposed to be and now... No, you did come home. That's right. You made it back here because you wanted to come home to us. Dad, Mom, You don't need to say anything. You've been on a great and terrible journey, haven't you? A journey where you were all alone. You understand now, don't you? You won't forget again. I understand. Dad, this is a place you can always call home. I know. When I gave that answer, Dad and Mom hugged me again. Hot tears fell onto my face. They were Dad's and Mom's tears. I can't tell by looking that you're far from all right, but I'm so glad you came home. Aunt Eva, feel free to hate me as much as you want. Give your Dad and Mom a million kisses. Give a kiss to everyone who cared about you so much. Aunt Eva, and say I'm home to your other mother. Mom gave me a push from behind and I stumbled forwards towards my other mother. Eva, Mom, Angie-chan, if only I'd called your mom on that day, I might never have messed up. We might have been able to create a new world together. That's enough. You've come home. You don't need to say anything else. Mom. Welcome home, Angie-chan. You're my adorable daughter. Mom, always and until the end, you were my closest friend. The two of them hugged each other quietly, burying their faces in the other's shoulders and sobbing. The truth wasn't worth anything at all. In the first place, the truth was always in the past. The point of the future isn't to learn what happened in the past. What really matters is whether I can truly live and prosper in the truth that is the now. If I truly live and prosper, that is the truth. Back when I only ever tried to see the truth of the past, I was nothing more than a ghost trapped in that past. Since that time, I haven't lived a single day. Now I truly understand. This is what the real truth is. I will live, and I've remembered how much everyone loved me. Because I was young and selfish, I didn't even remember until now. The kind grandpa who always spoiled me. The entertaining aunts and uncles. All of the kind and gentle servants. It was always warm. And yet, because I was young and cruel, I never tried to remember any of that. Everyone got distorted by my irresponsible imagination, and I completely forgot the truth. Now I can remember clearly, and I understand. That Halloween quiz party certainly was an illusion. It never happened. However, didn't we do all kinds of fun things when the relatives gathered? Things that were no more or less fun than that party? And for the first time since the start of the game, I went up to each and every one of them to greet them, thank them, and apologize. To thank Grandpa for always pampering me. To thank my aunts and uncles. To thank the cousin for always playing with me even though I was so selfish. And I thanked and apologized to the illusions. I think I said something horrible to Sakotaro once in the past, and to Maria One-chan too. Maria One-chan, you really were a witch, weren't you? I've always been a witch. You approached that level yourself once, didn't you? No, I never really understood. Pitiful Maria One-chan with her pitiful magic, that's all I thought of it. So I couldn't pick up a fragment of happiness, couldn't even find one. You told me that yourself once, One-chan. It can't be helped. It takes two to create a universe. I had Beato, but you were all alone. No, if I had called Aunt Eva Mom, there would have been two of us. I'm sure I would have been able to create a new world with the same magic you used, Maria One-chan. All of it is my fault. The message bottles I threw away half-jokingly distorted your future and wore you down. I bear responsibility for that. Yeah, seriously. It's all because of your message bottles. Because of that, people started copying you and making forgeries, growing the story into something crazy. However, the message bottles thrown away by Beato did not name a specific person as the culprit. One of the forgers wrote a plausible forgery that had Oshido Miyaifa as the culprit, and it spread like a wildfire. Even though I should have known better than anyone else that it was impossible, I accepted it in the end. It isn't your fault, Beato. No matter how many people around me had baseless suspicions. There should have been only one truth inside me. And yet so easily, I abandoned my warm memories of you all, and surrendered my heart to them. No. If I had not thrown away the message bottles, the future of Rokkenjima would never have become the center of such bizarre misconceptions. I bear responsibility for it all. True, that's right, it really is your fault after all. Moo. Put that way, it's a little irritating. You do have your share of the blame as well. Yeah, you're right. You were at fault, and so was I. Still, it'll be stupid for us to attack each other. After all, I'm a witch of the future. You're a witch of the past. I should be using that magic to build my future. We both bear responsibility in some way. But neither of us has the right to blame the other. I knew you'd be able to understand Maria Associate's teachings, Angie. That's right. As the final member of Maria Associate, it's my responsibility to pass on One-chan's magic. My magic can make everyone happy. Indeed. You have both pure magic and wicked magic at your fingertips. I know it's 11, I'm just trying to find a good place to stop, by the way. That's true. Magic can change completely depending on your heart. If you aren't properly guided, you can't use magic properly. And proper magic can bring people happiness. It is a wonderful thing. Bringing people happiness is the sole reason that witches wield magic. I am very pleased to know that those teachings have been passed down through the endless witches all the way to the final witch. Sorry for failing to pass it on myself at all. Witch of the future, Angie Beatrice, I will now retract your expulsion from Maria Associé. Yay! Thanks.
Udio, I knew Angie would come back.
Congratulations, Angie-sama. I thought I knew what the time we spent traveling together meant, and yet Sorry. I'm so sorry. Witches cannot create a universe unless there are two. In the future, you will be alone. Will you really be okay? Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm not alone anymore. I'll live with everyone, and I'll live in the future. I swear to keep living so that I can pass on the magic of Maria Associé. Maria Onechan's magic has saved me too. There are a lot of people out there who need magic. As the final witch of Maria Associé, it's my duty to teach it the right way and save as many people as I can. Will you truly be able to do so? Of course, I have the power to do it. That's the golden magic that my predecessor, Eva Beatrice, spent so much time building. I've inherited all of that, right? More like all the money. Well, if only my health had held out a little longer, I was planning to spend all of it on myself. As Angie laughed, tears poured from her eyes again. Everyone surrounded Angie with their kind, warm smiles. What about Battler? Battler stood alone in the rose garden maze, letting the rain quietly fall on him. I guess that is a kind of a good point. It is at least a sort of cut, and it is now getting into something new.